Hello, my name is Stephanie Arwine. I am a member of the BNI NWA Trusted Business Partners in Northwest Arkansas. I'm going to be doing this training video today on BNI Connect. It's designed to be a supplement to our mentor program. So after watching any of this video, feel free to rewind at any time and rewatch it, but also be sure if you have any other additional questions, refer back to your mentor coordinator who is inside of our BNI chapter. If you're not sure who that is, then talk to our president, and our president can point you in the right direction. All right, so let's get started on, after we got all those pre-stuff out, let's go ahead and look at BNI Connect. Now, there's two ways to get to this. You can go through BNI Mid-America, or you can come to it directly from bniconnect.com. You're going to see a screen that looks just like this. You'll see that I have my username and password already in here, and we're going to log in just a moment. If you should have received your login information from our executive director out of Missouri. If you have not done that, again, that's a question for your leadership team and your mentor coordinator. They will make sure they direct you in the right direction to get your username and password and completely how to get set up. Today's training is just how specifically to get started with BNI Connect, and then I'm going to kind of show you how to guide to go on and do some more advanced stuff. All right, I have already put in my username and password, so I'm going to click sign in. After you sign in, you're going to see it comes to this opening page. Now, this is the page that you primarily be going to use. You will be using this every week, and we're going to be talking about each one of these little buttons. I'm not going to spend a great deal of time on it because we actually did an hour-and-a-half seminar on this a few weeks ago, but I'm just going to show you the buttons where they are, and then trust me, once you get logged in, click on the buttons, click on all of them, and you're not going to blow them up. So the first thing I'd like to point your direction is you need to go ahead and change your password. If you've not already done that, you received a password from the executive directors. You need to change that to something that you will actually remember, and be sure and remember it because we don't know it. You need to go ahead and go to the update profile, my BNI page, make sure all of that is current, because remember, not just our chapter members are going to see it, but this is you're going to be able to see this worldwide inside the BNI Connect system. You can, of course, add a change, a photo or a logo. You see I updated my image over here. This is a MSP button. We don't do that. In other words, not we. You and I don't put that on there. But once you have successfully completed MSP and gone to that class, they will automatically put that on there for you. If you've completed MSP and you don't see that ribbon on your opening page of BNI Connect, then be sure and contact your leadership team, and they will direct you to how to get that taken care of. All right, I'm going to spend a lot of time on this page today. You'll notice that everything in here is for your business. Now remember that for our chapter, we like to make sure that our individual members get their good return on their investment. And we do that by tracking monies that you've received. That's called Thank You for Closed Business. We also track one-to-ones, in other words, those that you have done one-to-ones with inside the chapter or in other BNI from other BNI chapters. We also track the referrals that you give out. Well, we also track how many visitors you have. So if you have a visitor, you need to go ahead and submit that. If you've invited someone and they have said yes, they're coming, you need to enter that in the system as well. All right, so let's just go down one by one on these buttons. They're really not that difficult. They can seem overwhelming, but they're really not. The first thing you're going to do is just click on Thank You for Closed Business. Now, Thank You for Closed Business is very simple. If my BNI partner, Mary, for instance, refers someone to me, whether it's herself or whether it's someone outside the chapter, if Mary refers someone to me and I actually close business for that, then I want to make sure I thank Mary for the closed business. Again, whether it's herself or whether it's somebody outside the chapter, I want to thank her for that closed business. So that's the purpose of this particular page. And what you're simply going to do, and we have a Mary in our chapter, so I'm going to say that it is from Mary. So there's Mary in our chapter. She's inside of our chapter. And I'm going to say the referral is the amount of $300. And I'm going to say that this is new business. and I'm going to say that it's tier 2. And the reason I'm saying it's tier 2 is because Mary referred me to Bob, who is not in our chapter. And then Bob closed business with me in the amount of $300. And so that's a tier 2 and not just a tier 1. Then the comment sections gets kind of tricky. For me, in my business, I can simply say, thank you for the referral to Bob. But we have some individuals who can't, for HIPAA reasons or whatever, can't put who they referred to because they have regulations in their industry that they can't disclose that information. There's two ways around that. One is if that's you, and that's usually financial advisors, doctors, lawyers, chiropractors, acupuncturists, those who are really consider their clients' data private and they can't share that information. There's a get around to that is one of two ways. One, you can just say thank you, Mary, for the recent referral. You can say that you can just go ahead and ask. For instance, Bob was my referral, and you just simply say, Bob, is it okay? Thank you for your business. Is it okay, Bob, if I thank Mary for your referral? 9 times out of 10, Bob's going to say yes. But if Bob says no, then you can just type that out, and then I can just say thank you for your recent referral. Okay? And again, no one's really going to see this. They're going to see the numbers, but they're not going to see who it is. That's just kind of between you and Mary. And then you would simply, I'm not going to submit this because this is not an actual referral, but then you would just click either submit if that was all the closed business that you had for that week, or if you had another thank you that you wanted to give for another BNI member, you would click submit and new. All right, that's for tier 2. Now the same thing. If it was a tier 1, I'm thanking Mary for her business. So Mary gave me herself as referral. I still want to thank Mary for that referral. So I'm simply going to say that's going to be a tier 1 member to member. So I'm thanking Mary. Thank you, Mary, for the business. Thank you, Mary, for giving me the referral, which is you. And then I'm going to say thank you for your business. Or whatever. This is not in stone. You can put in the comments anything that you'd like to put. All right. There's one more, and then again, if I have more referrals, I can hit submit and new. Or I mean, not referrals. If I have more thank you for closed business, I can hit submit and thank someone else for a referral. Or if I'm done, I only have that one to enter, then I can just hit submit. Now there is one more option. We do sometimes have referrals from BNI members from other chapters. If you want to do that, you just simply click the search engine, and then you put their name and search, and it'll come back. It'll come back with their name and information, and you can leave that information in there. Oops, went back too far. Let me log back in. All right, so that's basically the thank you for closed business. Again, it's very important that you thank members for the referrals. We do for two reasons. That gives you good credibility because it shows that you're receiving business. It also, we track something else in our chapter, and that's we want to know that members in our chapter are giving referrals. So that also sends to our membership committee that this particular Mary, for instance, in our example, is an outstanding member of our group because she's consistently giving referrals, not just leads, but referrals that actually closed business. So it's very important that you recognize Mary for giving that referral because it gives her credibility with the chapter, it gives her credibility with you, and again, it raises the numbers and tells our chapter that not only are you getting benefit, your return on your investment, but the chapter as a whole is generating income as well. Okay, enough for the thank you for closed business. The next button that you are going to use, and you will probably be using that quite a bit, is submitting a referral slip. Now, this is when you are referring something to another BNI member. Now, it can be a member of the chapter, and I'm going to use Mary again just for an example. No, I'm going to use somebody else so that you'll kind of see it's different. Okay, I'm going to use Aubrey. So, for instance, let's say that I have a referral for Aubrey. All right? In this instance, the referral is me, so I'm going to put my name. Now, I am a member of Aubrey's chapter, so that is a tier 1. Tier 1 is always referrals inside. Just like thank you for business, tier 1 is inside, so are referrals. All right? And then we need to put, it's a required, all these asterisk means required. You need to either put given your card or told them you're going to call. Now, sometimes the business actually closes before you even have an opportunity to put the referral slip into the system. For instance, a lot of times I'll give Aubrey a referral. I've called her on the phone and told her about it. She's already taken care of the business. She's already aware of it and has already called the customer, the prospect. That's okay, but I still have to click one of these. So giving your card or told them with your call is very, very important because this information is actually going to be emailed directly to Aubrey. So we're going to say it's a tier 2. I have referred Aubrey to someone that's outside of the chapter, and I've always, and this is what I always ask, is always say, okay, I'm sorry, this is me. This is me, so I still have to, I'm sorry, back up, rewind. I've said that this is a tier 1. I'm referring Aubrey to myself. That's a tier 1. It really doesn't matter which one of these I put. I'll just click told them your call because she's going to call me. I don't have to put an address. And I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, only because I don't want to put my personal phone number in here today. But be sure and put the phone number in that's required, and it's very, very important. Then you would complete an email and a comment section. Now, guys, don't overlook this comment section, especially if it's a tier 2, because in this tier 2 you can give Aubrey the information she needs to close the sale. You can, for instance, give them that referral's hot buttons. They're looking for someone who specifically can do this. Told them that we recall they're going to be out of town this week. Please don't call till next week. Because if you told the client, the prospect, that they're not going to call till next week, and then Aubrey ends up calling them tomorrow, well, then that doesn't look very good. On the other hand, it's just as important the opposite way. Hey, this is a hot lead. You need to call them today. Then Aubrey needs to know that, and she needs to call them today, because if she waits till next week, that's not good either. So these comments are very, very important to tell us about the referral and exactly what we need to do it. And then you have on the right-hand side this thermometer. Quite frankly, tepid. That's a lead. I hope we're not giving any leads in our chapter. A referral is someone who's expecting your call. So I would recommend that any referral given for our BNI partners is either a 3 or a 5 or higher. 5 basically says call them right now. A 3 is they're very, very interested. I gave them your information, but it may take a little bit to close. Again, that's a judgment call, and it's my judgment. But I definitely would say inside of BNI we don't want to give we don't want to give 1s. That's a lead. We want to give 3 and above. All right, and then it's the exact same thing with a thank you for closed business. If you've got more referrals to share, you can click submit new, or if this is the only referral you're going to enter, then you can just hit submit. And you can do the same thing with search cross chapters, because BNI members are really, really good. If we don't have that category inside our chapter, we want to give it to the BNI family. So be sure, and it can you may be giving a referral to a BNI member in another state or another country. So be sure and go ahead and refer that inside the family. Again, but one more thing, if you're having to give a referral to someone in another chapter, that probably means that we need that category in our chapter, because we want to keep everything in-house. Because even though we're giving it to a trusted business partner to another BNI chapter, that chapter will keep those referrals in their group, and again, we want to keep the referrals in our group. So go ahead, it's important to take care of your client, give it to another BNI member in another chapter, but in the meantime, maybe doing your 60-second commercial, say, I just had to give a referral outside the chapter. I'm looking for that particular category to be added to our team. I'm so sorry. I hope that helps. All right, the next one you're going to be given is one-to-one slips. One-to-one slips, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, because once you get the idea of the buttons, it's basically the same. Excuse me. All the buttons actually act exactly the same way. Whether you're having a one-to-one with a BNI member in another chapter, or where you're having a BNI member with a member of your own chapter, you just use a drop-down button. You click on their name, you say who it's invited by, and then you put the location where you had the one-to-ones, what you talked about, and the date. Again, at the bottom, you can submit and put a new one if you've got more than one, or just simply submit. Now, a little hint about the one-to-one follow-ups. Let's go back to Mary example, or let's go back to she's up front. So Aubrey, you get chosen again. Let's say that I had a one-to-one with Aubrey. I'm going to fill all this information out, but to make sure that only one of you enters the one-to-one. So while you're having the one-to-one, the two of you decide which one to put it in. Because if both of you put it in, it's going to show up on our reports as two one-to-ones, and we want our reports to be accurate. So only one of you enter it. So Aubrey, I'm entering this one. Don't enter it again. Actually, I'm not entering it because this is just an example. All right, that's very, very simple. The same thing with, then now we're going to go to the submit CEUs. Guys, if you don't already know, talk to your mentor. We do have traffic lights, and we want to be in the green. There's green, orange, I'm just going to use green, yellow, red, and then the infamous black. Our team, our whole team as a team has been in the green. We have been green traffic lights, and we've been leading Northwest Arkansas. We'd like to keep it that way. But each individual is not only is the chapter in the traffic lights, but so are the individuals. And those includes, again, green, yellow, red, and not so bright. It's called black. So what we want you to do is we want each of our members to stay in the green. Now, I'm not going to talk about traffic lights here. That's not the purpose of this training. But just briefly, just do the things that you're supposed to do, and you'll stay in the green. One of those is attendance. Be sure and be there every week. If you can't be there, be sure and have a substitute. Do one-to-ones. The goal is one per week. If you have the time, certainly do more than one, because that's where you build your visibility and credibility. But if you don't have time, maybe one week you don't have any time, well, next week try to do two. In other words, we want to average one-to-one a week. Attendance, again. And then the other thing that people kind of overlook, and I'll be honest with you, I've been in BNI for 11 years now at the time of this recording. They added these CEUs about 7 years ago, and until recently, I'm going to be real honest, I didn't totally understand them or how you get them, but I get it now. And again, the way we did that is the way we get those CEUs is we click on the submit button, and here's the way you get it. First of all, if one time you get a credit once if you completed a member success program. Now you know you have completed if number one you completed it, but also if you've got that ribbon. Remember we talked about the ribbon. If that's up there, then you get credit for attending MSP. Now you just get credit after you've gone, and we recommend members go once a year because it's amazing. The membership committee success program, I could do a whole lecture series on that. It's awesome. So make sure you go at least once a year. The membership success program, you get 2 credits for that. Now, if you go to one MSP class, that's quantity is 1, not 2. Okay, so you went once to MSP, and if you'll see, it gives you 2 points for that week. All right. Another way to get to jumpstart your CEUs, when you become a member, you get a packet. Inside that packet, I don't have mine handy. It's in my folder over here. But in that packet, you have your BNI binder, you have policies and procedures, you have your name badge, but you also get a CD. Okay. So if you will actually listen to that CD, you'll get 1 point. Now that's 1 point. Now that's once. All right, you don't get it twice. You did it once, so you get a point for that. All right. Another way to get credits on this line item is to read SuccessNet. If you go to successnet.com, they send out daily articles, and it's training. They're wonderful articles, and it's usually about networking of all things. BNI is a networking organization. I heard once from BNI Ivan Meisner that BNI is actually an educational organization disguised as a networking organization. They do a lot of training on how to network, and there's a plethora of those. So read some SuccessNet. That'll give you a point. All right, let's continue. Podcast. If you listen to 5, not 1, if you listen to 5 podcasts is the equivalent of 1 point. How do you get 5 podcasts? You can download it. You can go to your app store on your phone, whichever phone you use. I'm an iPhone person, so it's Apple.com or whatever. But whatever it is on your particular smartphone, your app store, you want to download the official BNI podcast. There's several BNI podcasts, but you want the official BNI podcast, you'll know you're the right one because it's got a big image of Ivan Meisner on it. If you will download that to your smartphones, then you can actually, he does a podcast once a week. So it's not like every day, but he does podcast once a week. So if you listen to five podcasts, then you can, it's the equivalent of, again, 1 point. Leadership team training. This is going to be available for any of those who go to leadership team training. We're going to have one in March coming up. You'll get 3 points for that. Trusted business partners. Also, our leadership team that goes in here, St. Louis. If you go to St. Louis in September, you'll get 3 points for that. Now, again, you earn one and get 3 points. Advanced BNI training modules, those will be announced by your leadership team or other workshops. And then, of course, also one other thing that was given to you in that member packet when you first joined is a BNI book by Ivan Meisner called Giver's Gain. I don't know what revision it's in. It's gone through several revisions since it's first come out, but it has some great stories. It's an easy read. It does not take you that long to read it. That's one book that you can read. If you go to BNI.com, there's a plethora of and SuccessNet, I think, has access to his books too. But Ivan Meisner's probably be collaborated on about 20 different books. They're wonderful books, and again, it's about referrals and networking and building your credibility. Those are wonderful. And talk about Sales Manager Minute. There's wonderful books out there. For each one book you read, you get 5 points. So again, if you read a book from Ivan Meisner, then you would get that's one, okay, and you would get 5 points. All right. If you have any other questions on this, that's all I'm going to spend the night on this. See your mentor or your leadership team, and they will explain more. Okay. All right. That's your submit your CEUs. Now then, you can also track your referrals that we received. Again, we talked about the referrals. Anytime someone puts a referral slip into this Connect, it will automatically be sent to your email, so you can follow up on it. You can keep it. It will also be kept inside the back office of BNI Connect. I'm not going to click this up because you don't necessarily need to see all my referrals, but I just want to show you that this is where they are. You can actually, there's a place where you can make notes. Excuse me. You can make notes, and really those are just for you to see. Nobody else sees them but you, and you can make notes. All right. And track them and say they're closed or you're working on them. And it's kind of a reminder, oh my gosh, I haven't followed up on that one. I need to call. You can also review your thank you for closed business. Again, this is making sure, number one, making sure that sometimes I say, did I thank them for that? Did I post that? You can actually review that to make sure the business that you received. You can also look at it just to see, I don't think I'm getting my return on investment. Let me look. And then sometimes you think you're not because maybe you haven't closed anything recently. But when you click on that button, you'll see after all you've gotten way more than the cost of your membership. Okay. Same thing with referral slips, ones that you've given and received. Your one-to-ones that you received. You can review your CEs to see what you've completed. You can receive the referrals report. Received, easy for me to say, received referrals. I want to click this button because this is probably another one of the most important things you need to do. When you get ready for your meeting, mine is on Wednesday, and this is for my business partner, so my meeting is on Wednesday. So what I'm going to do Tuesday night, or for those of you who work and your printer is at the office, then Tuesday afternoon before I leave the office, and if I can't remember, I'm going to put it on as an event reminder weekly on my calendar to send me a reminder before I leave. So at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, I'm going to send myself a reminder before I leave the office. I need to print up my referral slips. Now I'm going to I have no idea what's on here. It's going to show up on here, so I'll just show. All right. This is a personal meeting activity. Now, I did not have any particular referrals that I'm giving out this particular week, or at least at the time of this recording. But you will see that this shows one-to-one slips that I've done. It tells you if I had any visitors, I put any visitors in, that'll have that in there. But what's important is right on above this, you will also have referral slips that you have turned in and put into BNI Connect. So if you've given referrals, what you want to do is you want to print this up, cut up your referrals. Do not cut up the one-to-ones. Do not cut up your thank you for closed business. Do not cut up your CEUs. Only cut up and cut out your referral slips, because what we do during the I have portion of the meeting is we will read our one-to-ones. We will read our thank you for closed business. We will read the visitors that showed up today. What we will turn in the basket, in the basket, and the only thing we put in the basket is the referrals. So I'm referring Aubrey to Mary. That's a referral. That's what I put in the basket. The rest of the stuff we just read off, okay? So this is extremely important to put in, so make sure that you don't forget that, okay? All right. Now, after this, because this is getting long and I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. Your mentors will go over everything else, or if you need some help, your mentors can go over all these other buttons. You can actually email your chapter and get information. You can actually email your chapter. You can view your mentor and mentee. You can view your PALM summary, that's present, absent, late, medical leave, or substitute. That's what your vice president is tracking for you. You can register a prospective visitor. Again, only do that if they've said they're going to actually come. You can email your visitor. You can email your visitor an invitation, leaving a little information, a little comment. You can email your chapter's visitors. You can do a chapter roster report. You can get returning your absent report, speaker reports. And I would pull this up and look at it occasionally. Your secretary treasurer will actually enter the speakers for the next 6 weeks. So if you want to know who the speakers are for the next 6 weeks, that's where you get that. Your leadership, your personal PALMS report. The other one is the chapter's PALMS report. This is your personal one. This gives you a little bit more about your membership details, which you need to make sure you have that completed, which is your network and your etc., your password, and update your profile. All that needs to be done. This tells you how long your membership. Here's your traffic lights. I talked about the traffic lights. So all these, just click on these buttons, guys. I'm not going to go over all of them here. You cannot blow this thing up. So just click on it. We've talked about, here's your connections inside of BNI. You can manage them, then you can add them. I would recommend that you ask for testimonials and have these testimonials put in here. Groups, you can actually join groups, and I'm not talking about the BNI chapter that you're in group, but you can actually join groups outside of BNI. So click on that to find more information about that. There's a plethora of documents. You can see there's over 240 different documents on here. A lot of this is information, some more training. Guys, there's so much stuff in here. A lot of stuff is really great for our educational coordinator. But here's your new member open house plan. We're working on that now. All this stuff is in here for you to get. There's a lot of good information here, so make sure that you take time to look in here. Again, click on all the buttons. You can't blow it up. This will also tell you about the events. Here's some events that are coming up. If you're wanting to know when MSP is, this will probably give you information about MSP. Okay, Vice President training, another webinar, BNI Connect, how to do all that. So if you want specific information on that, all this stuff is in here. Be sure and mark this one. Here's our area webinar. I bet you. Member Success Program, there's another one. 6, I bet there's another one sooner than that. If you haven't been to MSP, connect, events, summit. Looks like our next member success program in Northwest Arkansas is, what is that, January, February, March, April the 12th. So make sure you attend that. It's at La Quinta Inn. You can sit here and register for that. You do need to register for those classes just so that they'll know how many booklets to give and how many to prepare for. So be sure to register for that. So I'm gonna wind this down now so that you can kind of have an idea. Again, the main time you're going to spend on this first page, but there's so much information here. Be sure and click all the buttons. Be sure and update your information. This will be information that the secretary is going to use to introduce you during your 10-minute presentation. You must attend MSP before you are eligible give a 10-minute presentation. And guys, this is really important. I know some people are kind of nervous about giving that 10-minute, and that's okay. I was too the first time I gave one, mostly because I didn't know what to say. And then add to that, these are my peers, and they're going to expect me to do something great. So everybody gets nervous. Don't worry about that. If you're struggling with it or what to say or how to say it, again, get back with your mentor. They will help you with that. So I hope this has helped. This is kind of an overview. You can go get into a more detailed information, but I hope this helps. If it has, let your mentor know that you've seen it and it did help. Don't be afraid to go ahead and save this link. You feel free to come back to it and watch this video at any time. Again, my name is Stephanie Arwine, just trying to help out my team members here at BNI Northwest Arkansas Trusted Business Partners. I'll see you on the other side.